Hello, brick sculptors! Welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and today we're going to build bonsai trees. Yep, this is a video I've wanted to do for quite a while, and I got some free time, relaxing, and decided to build some bonsai trees. So let's go ahead and get after it here. First, I want to share with you just a very small design. I'm sure you guys can figure out how to do something cool like this. Just a little micro tree, very small branch piece. This actually is a recolored, is a Go Bricks branch piece. Here we have some Asian-inspired details on this small bench. Love how that turned out, but we're going to show you some that are a little more complex in this, and I'm quite proud of. Now, this next design uses something I've wanted to do for a while, and that is hair pieces. So we're going to start with a 2x2 round with that hole in the middle. Here I have a tan Travis brick with dark red plates on all four sides. I'm just going to stick that right on this round bottom there, and that's going to be the pot for my next bonsai tree. Now for the branches, we're going to start with one of these T-junction pieces. I love these pieces. They're not super common, but they are incredibly handy. And we're just going to stick that right on the Travis brick like that, sticking out to the side. And when building bonsai trees, the hardest part of this is cramming lots of detail into a very small build. As some of you might know, building small is almost as hard, if not harder, than building big, because Lego doesn't like to go super small with detail. So you have to get very creative with your parts usage and make the most of what you have. Now for this, I'm going to use hair pieces, and this was a particular hair piece that I bought a while ago in this lime green. Here I've got it sitting on a reddish brown bar. In the bottom, I just put a 1x1 round with open stud and a 1x1 round plate. Stick that on there, and that's going to be the first part of this tree design going upward. So I'm going to stick that right on this T-junction, and that will be the highest branch on this bonsai tree. Now I'm going to add two more branches to it. For those ones, I'm going to take two more hair pieces, and I'm going to put clips in the bottom. These are just reddish brown clip pieces with bars on them, and these are going to come off the stems here. So the first one we're going to put off the side just like that. And the next one I'm going to face upward here. Now you might need to tease these around a little bit, tweak the angles to get them all to fit. But doesn't that look awesome? I absolutely love how that turned out. This one here is sitting at a little angle, but we can move things around here to get it to fit a little better. There we go. Now it's sitting a little more legally. That side I don't like as much. That side looks better, but you can always move these things around, get them however you want them. But what a great use of green hair pieces. And I bought these specifically for plant parts and have not found a good way to use them until now. So happy to get a cool usage for those. This next one is also going to use hair pieces, but a different style hair piece. I particularly love how this pot turned out. I basically have one of these 2x2 rounds again with the open stud on the bottom. This is a 3x3 dish piece. Down inside I have a round plate with one stud and then a bar through the middle. And that's going to be the pot for my next tree. This one's going to be a little bit taller. I'm going to start with a 1x1 round plate with open stud in reddish brown and slide that down in there, and that'll be the base of my trunk. And then I'm going to work my way up using these pieces. Now, I've bought these quite a bit in the past. I've never found great uses for them, but this is a perfect bonsai piece because it gives you that nice little arching branch and a connection point on top. So we're going to stick one of those on there. Then we're going to stick a second one on there. That's going to be the basis of our tree. On each limb, I'm going to put one of these green 1x1s. You could also use brown for this, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. You're not going to see them very much. And then on the very top, I'm going to take a lightsaber hilt. This is a dark brown lightsaber hilt. I'm going to stick that right on the top there. Sorry about my cut on my thumb. I scratched it on my siding cleaning my house yesterday, and then I injured it again at work today. So I'm letting it dry out, so I have a Band-Aid off it. Anyway, that's going to be the basis of our tree, and now I'm going to stick hair pieces on this. For the hair pieces, I'm going to use these bright green female hair pieces. Not quite sure what they're from, but they're cool nonetheless. And we're just going to stick these around here. You need to be a little cautious of the trunk, but I love how those hang down. And we're just going to put one on each of these surfaces. There's number 2. We can kind of, again, move these around a little, get them in the position you like them. And the third one right on top. Such a good looking little tree in a pot. Little big tree. It's like an old bonsai. All right, and then I'm going to make another bench. This one here a little bit larger. And we can kind of position these on this bench. Display them nicely. Look at those trees. I love how those turned out. All right, what's next? So these next ones are going to be a little bit different. I decided to do some of these like larger pots. I wanted to kind of mix up the colors here to give it a little more of a Asian-inspired look. I didn't have enough of these saucers to do the back, but you get the idea. And we're going to have kind of some Zen stuff going here. A lot of times bonsai plants will have rocks or small pieces down in there of moss or gravel, rock, whatever it may be. But this is going to be kind of the base of the tree here. The base of the tree is made up of this here. And what I have is a 1x2 with rounded sides plate. And I have 3 of these clips and a 1x1 round plate on top with open stud. Now for this one, I wanted it to look like a tree with needles. So I'm going to use these claw pieces. I have 5 of them here. And we're just going to walk our way up this tree, starting down at the bottom here. We're going to have one coming straight out like that. And then on these clips, we're just going to put 1, 2, 3, like that. And then I'm going to do 1 on top, overlapping. And that's going to be my little mini bonsai tree. A lot of times bonsai trees, because they're so old, they have really chunky and very abstract looking trunks. So it's okay to have a lot of wood on that trunk. To look like a tree that's been forced into a small pot for years and years and years. We can stick that there on our base. I think that looks really good. And then right here I want to add one small detail and just put a small frog statue right on there. Love how that looks. I should mention that when making these little trees, Maggie wanted to join in, so she did a couple of little bonsai trees herself. I've got those displayed there with Rick and with the Temu goat. Now, when making bonsai trees, you can't do that without making a Japanese maple. So let's do that. For this, I'm going to use a pretty basic pot here. This is one of these 3x3 round cylinders. Down inside, we're going to use this here. So I have a 2x2 round plate. On top of that, I have one of these half-rounded jumpers. And then I have just some little detail pieces in here, a clip on top, and then this little moss piece is just perfect for bonsai trees. So I've got that on there. Now, why do I have that clip? This allows me to get these 2 branches. You know, when you're doing Japanese maple, if I just use one branch like this, it's going to look very thin. So I need 2 of them. Well, these don't stack. So I have to get them super close together, and that's why I use this clip, because I can slide it over. As opposed to putting it here, I can get it really close to this other one. So I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to use one of these. One short, one long. I'm going to snap the bigger stem into here. Now, again, this is a recolor. It is a Go Bricks piece, but I like using them, so I do. You can get them in Lego, but only in green, and they're stupidly expensive and rare. So anyway, 2 branches in there, and then we have a little bit of height variation. And then all I'm going to do is cover this in these red, dark red, 3-leaf pieces. So this will have a fantastic Japanese maple look. If I get all these nicely intertwined together, it'll give me some height variation. And they'll be kind of scattered every which way. Again, bonsai trunks and roots are often very tangled up and kind of intermixed and everything, so that makes this look, you know, pretty realistic, having, you know, almost 2 trunks for this little tree. How did I lose that one? It is a little tricky to get all these in here, and I'm failing pretty miserably right now, so bear with me. This was a lot easier to do off camera. For some reason, it's kicking my butt right now. And it should look like one cohesive tree if you don't look too close at the end. Then we can just take that and stick it down here in our pot. And there we go. We have our Japanese maple in this round pot. I love how that came out and all the little details down inside the pot. All right, this one's not super bonsai-ish, but it is definitely very Asian-inspired. It's kind of bamboo-like. So I've got a barrel here. In the barrel, I stuck a 1x1 brick. Pretty illegal, but it works well. Here, I'm going to take one of these inkwell or nipple pieces, 1x1 round with bar on it, stick that right on top. We're going to go back to this piece here with this curved arc off the side. I'm going to put 3 of these on here. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that, kind of stagger their positions a little bit. And then now we can put leaves on it. The reason I wanted to build this tree, I recently bought these pieces, which I believe only come from the Japanese maple set, and I have not had a good use for them, so we're going to try them out here. I'm going to put one of these on these first 2 layers, just kind of sticking in different directions. And on the very top, I'm going to put a 1x1 round with open stud, and then another leaf right on that, and just kind of cover up that last branch there. I'm not actually going to put leaves on that one. I want it to be a little thin. You know, these bonsai trees are often heavily trimmed, so you can kind of see the details of the tree better. So that is going to be the tree there, kind of like a miniature bamboo or something like that. So I thought that looked pretty good, but not super bonsai-ish. And I have one more remaining here. Now this one I particularly like the pot that I built. I'm going to start with the base here, which is very similar to this one. I've got the sand in there, I got some rocks, and we're going to build a surround on this. This is just a bunch of snot pieces and corner snot pieces, and we're going to put sides on it. Now I thought this pot turned out excellent, and I'm going to use metallic gold pieces. Again, very Asian inspired here. We're going to take these rounded like hood pieces, I think that's what they originally were from, and put them on the 2 sides like that. And then I'm going to put one in the very front and one on the back like that. And we're going to go for this kind of cool oblong shape here. And then we're going to take ingots and put them in between right there and there. And I think that just looks awesome for a metallic gold big bonsai pot. Now this is going to be a pretty large tree, but it's going to be a very old one. It's going to be an old tree that's kind of been repotted a few times, a very grand looking bonsai. All right, so we've got our pot built. We've got our details down inside. And then next we're going to put the base of the tree. And for the base of the tree, we're going to use a 1x2 plate with open studs and rounded sides. I've got this moss piece on here. Again, I love that detail for bonsai. I'm going to stick that in one corner and have it kind of stick out like the roots of the tree. And then I built this tree because of this piece. I saw this and I was going through my plant parts and I'm like, that is the trunk of a bonsai tree. A little bit harder to incorporate than I thought it would be, but I thought it turned out fantastic. So this is going to stick right here in the corner and give us that curved, heavily trimmed up trunk sticking out over the pot. And you can kind of change the angle however you want on this. And then we're going to put some leaves on it coming back in this direction. A very classic bonsai shape that you might see. Now for the leaves, we've got a little bit stranger of a base. I'm going to take 3 of these 1x2 rounded edges plates with open studs, and I'm going to put them together in just a very slight curved shape like that. And then I'm going to take some leaves. In this case, I'm going to use bright green. I'm going to put 1 on each end, 2 in the middle, and then I'm going to take one of these 3-leaf pieces with the bar on the bottom and stick it down through just to give a little bit more detail up on top. And that is going to be what covers our bonsai tree. So we're going to stick this up on the top of that trunk, and look at how cool that looks. I absolutely love how that turned out. Yeah, that is probably my favorite of the entire bunch. Well, I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We do more just like this in the future. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.